Welcome to Delta Wave History, the place where we explore the slow, methodical, and wonderfully uneventful mechanisms of the past. Tonight, we are going to look very closely at something that does not move, does not speak, and changes so slowly that the human eye cannot perceive it. We are going to examine the quiet, undisturbed chemistry of ancient Roman concrete. In our modern world, we are accustomed to the inevitable decay of our surroundings. Highways crack under the pressure of winter frost, and steel-reinforced bridges slowly succumb to the quiet rust of oxidation. Modern infrastructure is built on a philosophy of rigidity, relying on inert binders that once set remain frozen in their chemical state forever. When a crack forms in a modern retaining wall, that crack is permanent, an open wound that invites water, salt, and eventual structural failure. But if you travel to Rome, you will find structures like the Pantheon, which has stood under the open sky for nearly 2,000 years. Its massive, unreinforced concrete dome has endured earthquakes, torrential rains, and the endless march of centuries. For a very long time, historians and structural engineers simply marveled at this endurance, assuming the Romans possessed a secret recipe lost to the ages. The truth, as it turns out, is not magic, but a very slow, very patient chemical reaction. To understand this, we must zoom in on the mortar, moving past the bricks and the grand arches, down to the microscopic level. Let your mind settle into the microscopic landscape of the ancient Roman mix, a landscape composed of volcanic ash, seawater, and chunks of limestone. When archaeologists previously examined this ancient concrete, they noticed tiny, bright white inclusions scattered throughout the grey matrix. These are called limeclasts, millimeter-scale nodules of calcium that dot the ancient material like distant, quiet stars in a very still night sky. For decades, modern material scientists dismissed these tiny white flecks as evidence of sloppy mixing. They assumed the ancient laborers simply did not stir the mortar thoroughly enough, leaving behind unmixed clumps of raw material. However, in the slow, deliberate world of ancient engineering, very little was left to chance. These limeclasts were not mistakes, but intentional, dormant reservoirs of healing potential. The Romans utilized a technique called hot mixing, where quicklime was added directly to the volcanic ash and water at extremely high temperatures. This intense, localized heat altered the chemical composition of the mixture, preventing the quicklime from completely dissolving. Instead, it formed these tiny, brittle clasts, locking away highly reactive calcium in a suspended state. Now, imagine a span of a few hundred years quietly passing by in the ancient city. The ground trembles slightly, or the foundation settles over a long, quiet century, and a microscopic fracture forms deep within the concrete. In a modern building, this fracture would be the beginning of the end, a pathway for erosion. But in the Roman structure, this fracture is simply the beginning of a new, exceptionally slow chemical process. When a crack forms, it naturally seeks the path of least resistance. Because the limeclasts are exceptionally brittle, the fracture travels directly through them, exposing their unreacted calcium to the open air within the dark crevice. Eventually, it rains. The water gently seeps into the structure, traveling slowly down the microscopic pathways, deep into the heart of the dormant concrete. As the water reaches the exposed limeclast, a quiet, ancient chemistry is reactivated. The water interacts with the calcium, creating a calcium-saturated solution that slowly bleeds outward into the empty space of the crack. There is no rush, no sudden movement, just a steady, microscopic flow of minerals filling the void. As the solution settles, it begins to crystallize, transforming into calcium carbonate. Molecule by molecule, year by year, the calcium carbonate bridges the gap, binding the broken edges of the concrete back together. The crack completely seals itself shut, preventing any further water intrusion and restoring the structural integrity of the stone. This is a living chemistry, a material that responds to its environment not by resisting stress, but by slowly adapting to it. Modern concrete, mixed with Portland cement, is entirely inert. It is mixed precisely with uniform ingredients, leaving no unreacted material behind, and therefore leaving no ability to heal. It is strong on the day it is poured, but it grows weaker with every passing year. The ancient Roman formula, however, grows stronger over the centuries, continuously reacting, continuously healing, in a quiet, endless cycle. Think about the gentle persistence of this process. As you rest, a tiny fracture forming in the dark, the slow seep of water, the microscopic crystallization of minerals. It is a process that requires nothing from us, demanding no attention, no maintenance, and no worry. It simply exists, working tirelessly in the background, outlasting empires, holding the stones together, while the world above goes about its noisy business. There is a profound comfort in knowing that some things are built to endure through simple, quiet patience. The ancient builders did not fight against the elements. They invited them in, using the rain to activate their hidden, dormant strength. As you drift off, let your thoughts mimic the slow, steady settling of the ancient mortar. Let the fractures in your day quietly heal themselves in the stillness of the night. The work is done, the structure is sound, and there is nothing left to do but rest. Discover more history by watching the next video. We're eager to share more with you. You can't go wrong. All our videos are deeply detailed, dull while fascinating, and distinctly sleep-inducing.